Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight's headlines, we have laying of the foundation stone of the future dispensary in Dudubale. For the international scene, more than 33,000 dead according to the latest figures, Turkey and Syria earthquake. Welcome to our newsroom. A strong delegation led by the Minister of Public Health, Ahmed Robli Abdillah, and composed of his main collaborators of his governmental department went last Thursday to Ali Sabih. His trip is part of the supervision of health structures dedicated to the preservation of maternal and child health in the hospital of the capital, the city of Aska. Upon reaching his destination, the member of the government and his companion were received by the prefect of the region, Musa Adan Migane, the president of the regional council, Sharmaki Hassan Alale, and the member of parliament, Abdi Khair Bouhad, the prefectures. The distinguished visitor and the regional officials have courteous discussions over coffee shortly after this first contact between these senior state officials, the head of state, the head of the health department, regional authorities, and the parliamentarian immersed themselves in the premises of the former medical hospital centers of the city, rehabilitated and dedicated to strengthen the health of mothers and children. On site, the officials were welcomed by the Director General of the Regional Hospital, Dr. Ahmed Absi Warsama, Abraham Maidan Kidani, health care professionals, traditional chief, active women, youth belonging to the regional associative environment, and other anonymous peoples. Minister Ahmed Robla Abdillah entered the specialized ward for mothers and child health, specifically in the prenatal services of the care pregnant women, the neonatal services, which is specialized in the care of newborns whose conditions requires intensive disease. They inspected the registrations of women in the pregnancy, children, and victims of malnutrition, the rate of vaccinations of newborns and other infants. For his part, the prefect of the region, Musa Adan Migane, reminded the men and women of Dudubale that the concessions that the processions of the laying of the first of the health post today is more other than your grievance handed to the President of the Republic. For his part, the Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Robli Abdillah, launched to the populations of the locality that he is implementing the promises made by the President of the Republic to the people of Dudubale. This post will have nurses, a female bag, and mini laboratories for blood tests and others. Dudubale is located on the edges of an important road which is very busy with the motorists, public transport vehicles, and many trucks carrying goods. When there are road accidents, the first aid ambulances come from Ali Sabih or Dekhil. The Minister of Health, in collaboration with the World Health Organization, UNDP, and Expertise France, organized a workshop to validate the extensions of the national strategy plan to fight against tuberculosis 2024-2026. The workshop was chaired by the Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Saleh Benoita Turaba, and attended by the UNDP Deputy Representative, Mr. Gaël Olivier, Farahad Hassan Farah, World Health Organization delegates, Ms. Noura Abdi, directors of the DEPC, the acting directors of the DPSP, Ms. Amina Farah, as well as the coordinators of the PNLT, Mr. Abdikader Yusuf. This multi-stakeholders meeting is the starting point for the development of the national strategy plan for a comprehensive response to the human rights barriers that impedes access to the TB services. This plan is also in line with the Global Fund strategy in the Republic of Djibouti. The fight against TB is a priority in the health sector. For his part, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Saleh Benoit Turab, said that the strategic plan, which required the involvement of different actors for the next few years, was validated by all stakeholders in the fight against tuberculosis. The launch of the workshop Lipre took place this morning of Monday, February 13, 2023 at the People's Palace, organized by the Djiboutian Offices of Development of Geothermal Energy, ODEG. This workshop is chaired by the Secretary General of the government, Mr. Almis Mohamed Abdillahi, and so the participation of the Minister of Agriculture, Mohamed Ahmed Awali, and the director of the General Director of ODEC, Dr. Qayad Musa Gire, and the LIP project is a long-term research and innovations partnership program on the renewable energy between the European Union and African Union. Within the framework of this research plan, LIPRE, financed by the European Union and African Union, ODEG has submitted the applications of the geothermal sites of Lakabe in its geothermal components called Geothermal Village. The applications of the prospect Lakabe has been retained. The general objective of this workshop is to inform the different stakeholders of the ins and outs of the project, to answer their questions and to introduce the social
scientists with our colleague University of Turin and Geo2D. Basically what we are doing during this day will be to visit Lake Abe and to collect socio-economic data, so basic needs of the people willing to be involved in the project, and that's it.
We're here to collect data. So this week we first have a focus group with representatives of ministries and a couple of other organizations here in Djibouti City. And then from tomorrow onwards we will travel to Lakabe to collect data there.
Basically, as my colleagues have already explained, it's a project that aims to look at the aspect of a small-scale geothermal development for local communities. And we are here to more or less understand a bit more how the local community can make use of the resources, the geothermal resources that are there. To understand even a bit more in terms of how they've already been using the resources and how we can build onto that.
The Secretary General of the government, Mr. Almis Mohamed Abdillahi, said that the general objectives of this workshop is to inform the different stakeholders of the ins and outs of the project, to answer their questions and to introduce the social sciences team, as well as its missions, which will consist in the collections of social and economic data. The high-level conference in support of Jerusalem under the slogan Al-Quds Resilience and Development started its work this Friday, February 12, 2023, at the headquarters of the League of Arab States in Cairo, Egypt. The Republic of Djibouti is represented by Mr. Ulufa Ismail Abdo, Minister of Solidarity and Social Affairs. The minister is accompanied by the Chargé d'Affaires of the Embassy of Djibouti in Cairo, Mr. Mohamed Ibrahim Roble, as well as representatives of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Solidarity, such as Ms. Hodan Musa Ahmed, Deputy Directors of the Arab War Directorate, the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, as well as the Jordanian King, His Royal Highness Abdullah II, co-presided over the launching ceremony of this important conference in the presence of the representatives of regional and international organizations, as well as Muslim and Christian religious representatives. From 6 to 9 February 2023, a delegation led by Colonel Wais Omar Boghore, commander of the Djiboutian Coast Guard, went to the Sultanate of Oman for a working visit. The general framework of this working visit was to establish establishment of cooperation and collaboration relations between the Djiboutian Coast Guard and the Coast Guard police of the Sultanate of Oman, During his visit, the commanders of the Egyptian Coast Guard was warmly welcomed by Admiral Commanders of the Coast Guard Police to discuss topics of common interests in the areas of security and maritime safety of the Gulf of Aden, the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, and the Indian Oceans, and the training of the Egyptian Coast Guard personnel in the prestigious institutions of Sultanate of Oman. In the continuity of his working visit, the commanders of the Egyptian Coast Guard, Colonel Wa'az Omar Boghore, also meet with the senior officials of the Omani Coast Guard Police, including Colonel Abdul Aziz bin Mohammed Al Jabiri, Deputy Commanders of the Omani Coast Guard Police, Colonel Yasser bin Salim, Head of Maritime Rescue, Colonel Ahmed Al-Shayab, Head of Operation Security, Major Sal Qalban, Head of Operation Management, and Major Murshid Al-Qahal, Deputy Directors of Maritime Security. This meeting allowed the members of both institutions to discuss in depth the ways and means of cooperation and coordination in the field of maritime security and safety. Colonel Wa'az Omar Boghore had the opportunity during these talks to thank his esteemed hostess for the warm fraternal welcome that was reserved for him and the delegation he was leading. This Sunday, February 12, the Minister of Youth and Cultures, in collaboration with the regions, the Région Sud-Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur, organized a training course in management and administration of the library for the benefit of animators of a community development center. This training will last 5 days from February 12 to 16, 2023 at the National Library and Archives. The technical training provided by Marinette and Marie-Hélène, member of the COBIAC from Marseille, focused on the management of books, the management of book-related activities, and ways to increase the number of visitors to these places dedicated to public reading. All the animators of the library of the CDC and CLAC of the regions, the capital will benefit from this project of reinforcement of competences. Voting is a right. It is also a civic and citizen duty. Awareness on the withdrawal of electoral cards initiated by the young people, the youth of the commune of Bulaus have mobilized to raise awareness among the population on the withdrawal of electoral card for the legislative elections of February 24. The young people went door to door to call on the inhabitants to honor their civic rights and duty by withdrawing their voters' card and expressing their votes in the ballot boxes on February 24. Still within the framework of the legislative elections, the withdrawal of voters' card continues massively in the white city of Tajara. This morning at the prefectures of Tajara, several officials as well as the UMP candidates proceeded to the withdrawal of voters' card to participate in the 2023 legislative elections. Among the people who collected the voters' card were the Minister of Investment, Safiya Mohamed Ali Gadile, and several others authorities of the White City. The number of the voters registered in the prefecture of Tajara are all ready to fulfill their civic duty by voting on Friday, February 24, thanks to the tireless work of the prefectures of Tajara. In the framework of the fight against drugs, the detachment of the police of Tikhil, precisely the elements of the police stations of Mulud, intercepted an important quantity of cannabis, herb, and plastic alcohol at Arwo periphery of the locality of Mulud. More than 16 bundles of cannabis and 50 bottles of alcohol were seized. About 3 people involved in these cases were brought to justice. They were placed in the mandate of deposit. for the international scene, Palestine will go to the Security Council to demand the protection of the two-state solution. The president of the state of Palestine, Mahmoud Abbas, announced Sunday that he will go to the UN and the Security Council in the coming days to demand resolutions reaffirming the protections of the two-state solution. Mr. Abbas was speaking at the high-level conference in support of the city of Al-Quds under the theme Al-Quds Resistance and Development, organized in accordance with the conclusions of the Arab Summit held last November in Algiers. In his speech, the Palestinian president said the battle that rages through the land of Palestine did not only begin on the day of the occupation of our holy city in 1967, but it began several decades before. He added, "We are to the owners of the rights of the Palestine, Al-Quds, and the blessed of Al-Aqsa Mosque, and we are also the owners of the exclusive religious, historical, and legal right of the Al-Buraq Wall." Earthquake in Turkey and Syria, more than 33,000 dead, according to the latest report. The earthquake that has plunged Syria and Turkey into mourning could become heavier, according to the UN, with the latest death toll reaching over 33,000. According to the latest official figures, the earthquake of February 6, magnitude 7.8, has killed at least 33,179 people, and 29,605 in Turkey and 3,574 in Syria. I think it is hard to estimate the death toll precisely because we have to go under the rubble, but I am sure it will double or more, said Martin Griffiths, visiting the Turkish city of Kahramanmaraş, the epicenter of the quake on Saturday in Turkey. Cases of miraculous rescue were well beyond the crucial 72 hours period after the disaster continues to be reported by rescue workers and the media. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.